Welcome back. I'm Mayor Westmoreland, and today we have with us Amelia Powers Gardner, Utah County Commissioner. Thank you for being with us today, Amelia.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to be here.
So our residents would love to know more about the County Commission and how it affects their lives, and maybe a little bit about you. Now, I understand you've been working on some interesting things that perhaps might be unexpected by some of our viewers. Can you tell us about what's going on internationally?
Yeah, so the country of Israel, their Supreme Court had been working on a case for a couple of years actually, and they just found unanimously that the country of Israel has to accept and recognize marriages that Utah County performs via Zoom. So this is something that started back just before I was a county commissioner. When I was the county clerk, COVID hit, and we had just launched an online marriage license portal so that people wouldn't have to take a day off of work to come into a government building the day before they got married so that they could get essentially a permission slip from the government, a marriage license. One of the big things I work on is innovation and trying to make government more efficient and convenient. So particularly, for Eagle Mountain, for example, for you to have to drive 45 minutes or to an hour to Provo to get a marriage license and back, I said, why can't you do that on your phone? So we launched an online marriage license portal where using your phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you could get a marriage license. Well, after 2 weeks to flatten the curve became 2 months and people weren't able to get married, I said, this is crazy. If we can appear before a judge in court via Zoom, why can't we appear before an officiant via Zoom to get married? So we started marrying couples here in Utah, and word spread like wildfire. And then we started marrying couples all over the country. And then we started getting requests internationally to marry these couples. And we had some couples in Israel that wanted to get married, and under COVID, we're getting married via Zoom through Utah County. Israel challenged that those were legal weddings, but tying back to what does the county commission do and what does local government do? In the United States, under the Constitution, any authority not given to the federal government in the Constitution is afforded to the states. And in the state of Utah, marriage is afforded to the county clerk. And so I, as the county clerk, had the ability to perform these marriages that were legally binding under law, and now we find under international law. So the country of Israel has now found unanimously that Zoom marriages performed in Utah County are valid for citizens of Israel.
Amelia, this is all very interesting, and it's exciting to see the efficiencies of our local government. But it's easy to get overwhelmed too. Certainly we've seen how the chemistry looks really good at the county, but what are some things that you're looking forward to, that you're doing in order to compete out there? We know that Salt Lake County, for example, has, because of their presence, they're everywhere. Mm-hmm. They're seen and heard.
Yeah.
What can we do to ensure that Utah County is at least equal on the stage?
This is a great question. So there's a couple of reasons for that. One is traditionally Utah County has been significantly smaller than Salt Lake County, but we are growing at a faster rate, and a significantly faster rate, an exponential rate really compared to the other counties. In 2022, Utah County grew faster than Salt Lake, Weber, Davis, Washington, and Wasatch counties combined. We grew faster than the next 5 fastest growing counties combined. And because of that, we need a lot more resources. Utah County really is the epicenter of this small government mentality, which is fantastic. But what that means is that when we need resources, because we're growing so fast, we don't have enough people to be sitting at the table, right? So Salt Lake County, they have 7 members on their council. They've got a mayor who's got an office, and Salt Lake County, for example, has somebody at every single state task force meeting. In Utah County, by contrast, we have 3 commissioners, and that's it. The commissioners each have a policy advisor, but so do the Salt Lake County Council members. So if you're looking at representation, for every 6 people we have, they have 15. And that makes it really hard to be the squeaky wheel, if you will. This last legislative session, I was up at the legislature 3 or 4 days a week, depending on the week, and I was constantly reminding people that Utah County is 22% of the state's population. Last year, we were 39.2% of the state's growth, and we receive approximately 10% of the state's funding.
Yeah, that's out of balance.
It's very
right?
out of balance.
Yeah.
And without those resources, we can't get the infrastructure we need to grow.
Well, definitely, I can feel your pain there. As being one of the few full-time mayors in Utah County, I know, like, I can't be everywhere at once. And there are only so many meetings that can be fit in a day. And we definitely need that presence throughout the state, particularly at the Capitol, to help get that funding that we need here for roads and other infrastructure.
Yeah, there are some things we can make more efficient. One of the things that I'm working on, one of my projects right now, is to take what I did with marriage licenses, making it as remote as possible. I'm trying to do that with the health department. Make sure that people out here in the west part of the county, Saratoga Springs and Eagle Mountain, that you guys don't have to drive all the way to Provo to sign up for WIC services or to get a birth certificate for your child. So I'm really trying to work with the health department and try to make a lot of those services remote. But there's some things we can't make remote, and that's roads, that's buses, and that's homes, right? And we need infrastructure for those things to happen. And that's really our number one issue in the county is affordable housing. In order to have affordable housing, we have to be able to access affordable land, and that means roads and transit.
Right. And affordable housing means different things to different people, but it covers a pretty broad spectrum, really.
Yeah, right now we have we're on the verge of a housing crisis where when we think of affordable housing, some people think of maybe someone on welfare needs affordable housing. But right now in Utah County, we've got couples that both have bachelor's degrees, husband and wife both have bachelor's degrees and can't afford to buy a home. And they're both working full time. So we have well-educated, hardworking people with 2 full-time incomes that can't afford a home for their family, and that's a problem. So for affordable housing, we're not just looking at low income, we're also looking at moderate income.
Well, I've really enjoyed working with the county and the alliance that we have, and particularly working with you because, as you stated, you're well aware that this is where the growth is happening, and we need to stay out in front of it to plan it, to get the funding we need, to maintain the expected and planned for high quality of life.
Absolutely, and that's really has been my number one focus. When I ran for county commissioner first in a special election about 2 years ago, my biggest concern and the reason I ran for county commissioner is that our county didn't have a strategic plan. We're the fastest growing county in the state, and we're not planning for growth 3, 5, 10 years down the road. And I spent 2 years working on that. Was just reelected for another 4-year term. We have a new commissioner that has come in, and he is laser focused on growth and maintaining our quality of life through growth, just like you said. So that's really what we've been working on for the last 3 months is how do we make sure that Utah County has the resources that it needs to stay the best place in the world to live, work, play, and raise a family.
I'm certainly looking forward to Utah County having a greater presence in the state and controlling really what life looks like in the future here in Utah. Is there anything else that you would like our viewers to know?
I think that's really what we're working on this year. We've got a lot coming out. We've been working more closely with the legislature than we ever have. We're trying to work more closely with the cities than we ever have. Infrastructure resources are our number one issue. And we're really going to try to get more manpower at the county so that we can be present in those meetings and so that we can get the resources that we need and deserve and that, frankly, our citizens are paying for.
Well, the viewers and I will look forward to more conversations just like this to stay on top of the growth and all of the specific needs, whether it's roads, water, power, you name it, schools, libraries, whatever it takes to maintain that quality of life. So we appreciate you being with us, Commissioner Powers Gardner, and look forward to more conversations in the near future.
All right, thank you.
All right, and thank you to our viewers, and we will see you again next time.